This weekend, the Swamp, it's going to be packed with top recruits. All eyes are on that 3:30 kickoff between the Gators and Hurricanes. We're going to be watching, that's for sure, and so will top recruits. In this video, I want to find out how this Gator-Cane recruiting matchup is going to be impacted by the game itself. A couple recruiting battles to keep an eye on, and I got Chad Simmons here to go over it all. But first, guys, make sure you guys are locked in. Hit subscribe to the On3 Recruit channel, the best recruiting channel on all of YouTube. Go ahead, hit subscribe. We're going to be covering this game all weekend long. All right, let's bring in Chad Simmons. So, Chad, we got a bunch of top prospects going to be in the Ville on Saturday, but there's a few that we want to go over. Let's start with DJ Pickett, the five-star corner who picked LSU over both Florida and Miami, but both Miami and Florida are hoping to get back involved. DJ Pickett even said himself, he said back in May to On3 that he wanted to see how the Gators perform this fall, before really letting it go. He's from Zephyr Hills, right outside Gainesville. Do you think that DJ Pickett is a guy that this game could have an impact on, either way it goes, Miami or Florida's way?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. I mean, obviously, I think Florida, has more ground to make up than Miami. I think a win here obviously would be huge for Florida, but on the same side, huge for Miami. We've said, when I say we, Steve and myself, have said all along that Miami, playing the long game in their season can make a really big impact on DJ Pickett's recruitment, and the same can be said for the University of Florida. It's pretty similar with a lot of these guys we'll talk about that they've mentioned that they want to watch and see how both of these programs play throughout this season and kind of where the program's direction is, come October, November, December. So that could all impact their final decision when they sign in December. So, yeah, I do think this is a big one for both programs. Pickett, I think, has Miami right now a little bit higher on his list than Florida. So Florida has more to lose, but also probably more to gain as well.
Yeah, good point. All right, Hilton Stubbs, the stud corner out of the Jacksonville area. He committed to USC back in March, and it shocked us. I mean, it shocked all the analysts. We weren't ready for Hilton Stubbs to come off the board, especially to USC. But it also shocked the Florida Gator coaching staff. I think they felt like they were in a pretty good situation for him. He ultimately decommits, and he makes another decision. But this time, it's the Miami Hurricanes that he commits to. So this weekend, he's going to be back in Gainesville to watch this one. Could Hilton Stubbs' recruitment still be maybe open to the Florida Gator coaching staff?
Well, he definitely hasn't shut the door completely, Josh, if he's going back to the Swamp this weekend, obviously being a Miami commitment. I think Florida kind of feels they lost this one twice. We thought that Florida was trending, obviously, earlier in the year, and then he committed to USC, and then came down when he decommitted to Florida versus Miami, and Miami won that one too. So Florida's not giving up. He has strong connections and relationships there at the University of Florida. He's been there double-digit times going back this weekend. And obviously, again, if he's taking this visit, he still has Florida on his radar. He still is in communication with that staff, and Florida will love nothing more than to put, a whipping on the Hurricanes and make a statement in front of a guy like Hilton Stubbs. So they're working to flip from that team, University of Miami.
Yeah, very possible. We'll see what happens there if the Gators can pull this off. Now, On3's number one ranked linebacker is Ty Jackson. He's from the Sunshine State, and he's going to be in Gainesville this weekend for the game. Both Miami and Florida would love to add him to the commit list. He's not going to make a decision until December, so he is going to watch things play out. Who has more ground to make up when it comes to number one linebacker Ty Jackson? Is it the Gators or the Hurricanes?
Yeah, I think ground to make up, Miami for sure. I think Florida has pulled maybe ahead slightly in this race. We go back and look months ago into the spring. We were talking about, Alabama, Georgia, even Miami more than maybe Florida, but a couple of summer trips to the Swamp, including one for the Cookout back in July, has put Florida, based on my sources and intel, in a good spot here. So I do think Miami has more ground to make up, and a win here by Florida on the other side of that could really put them even in a better spot, making that statement early in the season.
All right, stud wide receiver Joshua Moore out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. He committed to the Florida Gators a couple weeks ago, but he famously told On3, I haven't signed anything. So he's committed, but he admits, hey, I have not signed anything. Is Joshua Moore still a priority target for the Miami Hurricanes?
Yeah, he's kind of famous for that quote, I think, Josh, at least on the inside scoop here with us. But
You've
but no,
used it a few
obviously,
times.
again, he's far from done too. You go back and you go look at when he made his decision. Leading up to that decision, Miami was trending there. He a South
Mhm.
Florida kid, playmaker, has been to Miami numerous times, and he got that unofficial visit to Florida, then an official visit to Florida, and they kind of changed the direction there pretty quickly. He committed to the Gators there. So again, he's going back to Miami at some point this fall, maybe more than one time, and they're still very much involved in his recruitment. So this is a big game on both sides
Yeah.
for Joshua Moore. Does he feel good about Florida after this game? Does he feel better about Miami after this game? Both teams have a lot to gain or lose in this contest.
All right, Jarquez Carter, he's one of the most talented in-state defensive linemen in Florida this cycle, but he committed to Ohio State this summer, which was a bit of a surprise because really all three in-state teams would have taken him. Well, four, put UCF, I'm sure they would have taken him as well. But Jarquez Carter commits to Ohio State. He's going to be in Gainesville this weekend. Do you think that's significant?
I do. I think, again, he has his eye on both teams. I mean, he's committed to Ohio State, but he's right there, not far from Gainesville. And he has a teammate committed to the University of Miami now. They flipped him from NC State.
Yeah.
So they have a connection there. But I would say Florida was in a better spot heading into summer OVs. Now he commits to Ohio State. I think there's some level of confidence that both Florida and Miami feel they can keep him in the end, home in state. Who will it be? We'll have to wait and see. Or does he stay with Ohio State? But both schools are recruiting him hard. They haven't given up, and obviously he hasn't given up on them. He'll watch both teams play this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, traditionally, Miami usually flips a couple from Ohio State at the end of the cycle. So, hey, maybe Jarquez Carter's the next one that Ohio State flips. But we'll see what happens. Big game this week. You guys talk to us. Who do you think is going to win? Give us your score predictions, and also what will the recruiting impact of that win be? Let us know. Comment section below. Well, you've made it to the end of today's video, but there's hundreds more videos on the On3 Recruits channel for you to check out. And also, while you're here, hit subscribe.